Certainly glad that you were able to share some time with us this evening. School has gotten off to a good start. There's always, at the beginning of the school year, a few bumps. Most of it relates to traffic around some of the schools, but I think that's being dealt with as best as possible. And things are going well in the schools. The board, most of us have had opportunities to be in the schools and see a lot of good things going on very early in the school year, as a matter of fact. We're very pleased with the way things are going at this point in time. We're going to move on with the agenda. The next item is the invocation for the board. I'd like to recognize Mrs. Dottie Darcy.
As our school year begins, we look for the safety and well-being of all of our students and staff, both during their time at school during the day and as they travel back and forth from home. We hope that each day will be a positive experience in learning and that all of our students will see school as a light in their lives, shining towards a bright future. Will you pause with me? Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Darcy. We appreciate that. Next item is to the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. We have two Baton Elementary School students here, Jonathan Hester, son of Wendy and David Hester, and Chase Sparks, son of Cheryl and Darren Sparks. So if everyone will join us in the pledge.
Ready? Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great job. Thank you, Jonathan. And Chase? Yeah, very good. Thank you all for being here. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda, which the board has had opportunity over a few days here to review. Do I hear a motion we approve the agenda as presented?
Mr. Chair, I move we approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Any comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And motion passes. Next is the approval of the minutes. On August the 13th, we had our regular session, and the minutes have been included in the board packets, excuse me, along with the closed session, which we also had that same evening. And the board's had opportunity to review that. Do I hear a motion we approve the two meetings on August the 13th?
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the August 13th regular and closed session minutes as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. The board has been busy in the last couple weeks, and one thing that we did last week was a work session. And it was very productive, and we have minutes from that. The board's had opportunity to review those work session minutes. And that was on September the 7th. Do I hear a motion that we approve the minutes of the September 7th work session?
Chairman Pennell, I move that we approve the work session minutes held on September 7th, 2018.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion passes. Okay, next item. And I think we had an issue at one point in time to recognize this group, and we're certainly happy that they're here with us. The board's going to move down, and we're going to shake hands and congratulate those that are part of it. And at this point, I want to turn it over to our school community relations director, Mrs. Libby Brown.
School Board Chairman Pennell, Vice Chairman Knight, board members, and Dr. Phipps. It's a pleasure to recognize our students, and we have tried to have them here before, but it was worth the wait. We will recognize this outstanding team this evening. It is South Caldwell High School's agronomy team won first place at the North Carolina Future Farmers of America Agronomy Career Development Event, and will represent not only the Caldwell County Schools, but the state of North Carolina in the National FFA competition on October 23rd through the 27th in Indianapolis. So you may ask, what is agronomy? That is not a pop quiz. You do not have to answer it. Just think about that. Some of you may know by now. It is the study of soil management and crop production. Yes, we provide this to our students here in Caldwell County Schools, thanks to the good teaching of Ben Conley. He is a CTE teacher at South Caldwell and has been there for 13 years, whose course involves fruit, vegetable, and ornamental plant production. He will be traveling to the team as they compete for the national title. So we hope to have all 5 of them back here soon after their competition. So congratulations to the South Caldwell High School agronomy team led by Mr. Ben Conley. So Ben, if you'd like to come up first. He has 4 students here this evening, and we'll start with Lawton Looper, who is a senior. Corey Reed, also a senior at, just stay up there, Mr. Corey Reed is also a senior at South Caldwell High School. Thomas Joplin is the junior of the crew, so you have another year, Thomas. And Kobe Hilton. Kobe is a senior at South Caldwell High School. So I am told by Mr. Conley, this is the first year, is that correct? That this team has been formed to actually compete. So they took it by storm. So you took the state championship. We're very proud of you, and Chad Smith is your principal from South Caldwell. He's here supporting you this evening. And CTE director is Libby Huff. So we're very proud of you. Congratulations. Let's give them all another round of applause. It's now picture time, if you'd like.
You guys want to move over this way, and we're going to take a picture. And Dottie, you want to stand on that side? Andy, you want to stand on that?
We'll move around.
Step over there. Teresa, come on up front here.
Y'all just get side by side and they can take a look. Yeah, they're tall.
There's not a height prerequisite to be on the team, is there?
Chad, you want to come up and join the group for, we get the next picture here? Okay. Congratulations, and thank you all for being here, and Chad, for you being here as well. Mr. Tief Taylor, we are happy that you're here. We know that you were slowed by a wreck on Conley Springs Road, but your students did a great job with the pledge, so we appreciate their being here. Next item on the agenda is public comment, and as of this afternoon, 3:30, we had not had any public comments, so we'll move on with the agenda. And there are a few announcements to make here. As I indicated, it has been a busy time for the board. The board has visited all the schools, and that took place on day 2 and day 3, and we saw a lot of wonderful things going on in the classroom, so that was good to see. We also had the work session, as we indicated earlier last week, on September the 7th, and that was very productive, and we will have another one here before Christmas. September 24th, the board is going to have a board walkthrough, and that will be in the High Brighton District, the feeder schools for the High Brighton District. The board will visit probably about 8 schools, or give or take, on that day, the 24th. 2 days later, on the 26th, the board will go to Wilkes County for the District 7 North Carolina School Boards Association district meeting, and that will begin at 4 o'clock. Our next meeting will be on October the 8th, and it'll be here, and I'm sure we will probably have art display at that time. Libby? Okay, very good, very good. Next on the agenda is the superintendent, and so I'll turn it over at this time to our superintendent, Dr. Don Phipps.
As we start the school year, I want to ask our parents and guardians to help us ensure that your students are receiving the maximum amount of instructional time possible. Help us with attendance, reducing tardies, and checking out early. It's very important that students remain in school for the entire day to get as much instruction as possible, and this is a great time of the year to mention that. I also want to thank our teachers, instructional assistants, support staff, and administrators for such a great start to school. It's exciting for me as a superintendent to be able to be in classrooms and see the quality of instruction that we already have going on. It makes me excited about what the year-end outcomes will be. I also want to let the folks know I attended the Sculpture Spectacular, the first time I've ever attended that, this past weekend, and saw lots of interesting works of art. But I was kind of drawn to a youth area. When I went into the youth area, I saw several art displays that were from students in our school district. And I found out after we received the notice of the winners that High Brighton's class portrait presentation was awarded the Sculpting Our Future Summer Camp Award winner, and also the People's Choice in the youth category. So we want to congratulate them. But all the work that I saw was great, adults and youth, a lot of talent there. And finally, just wanted to mention with the approaching hurricane, I know this part of the state normally doesn't have to worry about that. I'm kind of a weather geek, and having been in the coastal part of the state, I look at these very closely. And there are 2 prediction models. There's a European model and a GFS model. And those 2 models right now do not agree with each other. One has Roanoke, Virginia getting about 25 inches of rain, and the other has Roanoke getting very little. We don't know where the storm track is going to really lead until it actually comes. I would encourage everyone to prepare. We always say that we want you to pray and hope for the best and prepare for the worst. But we certainly will be working with our emergency management folks here in Caldwell County and making sure that facilities and all of our properties are taken care of, but also we ask you to take care of your personal items and needs and interests as well. But certainly have all those folks in preparation in our thoughts and prayers.
Okay. You have some items for board action?
I do. The first is an item that we originally had for approval, but I do want to point a few things out, and then I'm going to ask if the board would entertain a motion to table this until the October meeting. It is the policy. It has 3 different numbers, 4203, 5030, and 7273, and it deals with animals in schools. And again, this was not in response to an immediate need. We're trying to be proactive and make sure that we're addressing issues that we feel like could come up. I received some feedback late yesterday, and I know you all haven't had a chance to see this, so I don't want to put things in front of you and then ask for approvals. But on the back page or 2, you'll see some questions that were submitted and then some responses that we have to that. And what I'd like for you to consider is allowing this to sit on the table for 30 more days, and we would continue to solicit support and feedback, and then come to you in October with the actual, policy that we would ask for approval on.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we put the policies, animals in schools, number 4203, 5030, and 7273, that these be tabled until our October meeting.
Second. Any questions, comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And motion passes.
Thank you. And I want to say, when we're doing policy reviews and we put these on the table, it really is to get feedback from faculty and staff members and anyone in the public. So I want to make sure that we're putting these on our website. School's website has that reflected. We really covet your feedback, and we want to make sure that we've heard from everyone. So we want to make that available to you. We all have another policy here for approval, and it's policy 4700 for student records, and this is a revision. This is the policy that gets into directory information, student record information. And I've asked the board to take a look at that to make a revision so that we're limiting the amount of personal information that we release to students under the category of directory information. This has been out, this is second reading, it's been on the table for 30 days. No other revisions that are needed here, so I would seek your approval for this policy.
Do I hear a motion that we approve the policy 4700 on student records as has been presented by Dr. Phipps?
Chairman Pennell, I move that we approve the board policy revision to 4700 student records as presented.
Second?
Any comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Anything else, Dr. Phipps?
That's all I have at this point.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to call on Associate Superintendent, Dr. Carol Burns.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Dr. Phipps, we each year must approve the accountability model that the alternate schools will use. The accountability model is that school performance grade. We get our school performance grade each year, and I think you realize we've just recently gotten those, and sometimes we rejoice and sometimes we complain, but I do want to tell you we're just really happy because we have two people we can complain to. He's going to hate I'm going to tell on him. We whine and fuss about the accountability model, and our accountability director, Craig Bryson, is serving on a state committee of accountability directors, but Dr. Phipps is on the accountability commission. So we are just going to fill his ear full. So we feel like we have two conduits into the State Department of Public Instruction now. It will be coming, Dr. Phipps, at this point. The alternate schools can pick one of three models. The first one that you're aware of is they can do a model exactly like the other schools, which is not feasible for them, especially when they have small number of students. They can do what is called the progressive model, and that is set out for you in your board agenda, and it's very easy to follow what they have to do. And our two schools have been doing this for a number of years. 20% persistence, which is attending and staying in school, 20% achievement, and 60% growth. And then they're graded on progressing, maintaining, or declining. That's the model our two have used. A third model is they can design their own. And we have not done that, but I want to tell you that our two schools, with the support of the principals, would like to do Model B, which again is the progressive model for this year. But Gateway will begin immediately. They're working on a model of their own for next year that they want to do. It takes a while to do this. But if you want to do it, you have to turn it in by September the 20th, so we can't do that and do good service to it by that length of time. So we're requesting that you approve the Model B for them, both schools, Horizons and Gateway for this year, just knowing that there will be a change probably for the next school year. We respectfully request that you approve that for these two schools.
Do I hear a motion that we approve Model B for Horizons as well as for Gateway, the alternative school accountability model? And that would be Model B as indicated by Dr. Burns. Is there a motion to that effect?
I'll make the motion we approve the option B plan for Gateway Horizons and the accountability model.
Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Okay, any questions?
I was going to say, I just really like the fact that there was a 60% of it is based on growth, because I think that's a much more realistic way to address
The one they're
student
going
learning.
to work on will definitely be growth, and they've started by seeing what other units who've done this option and this model have done before, so they've already started, and growth will be the main thing.
That's good.
Any other comments, questions? If not, do I hear a motion that we approve the motion that has been made?
We want to say all in favor.
We already have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor, since we have no more questions, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Dr. Jeff Church, Associate Superintendent for Auxiliary Services.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Dr. Phipps, I have 3 items for your approval tonight. Exhibit 4 are bids and an ADM application for new football field lights at South Caldwell High School. I respectfully request the approval of the bids, of the bids and the ADM application.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the bids for light replacement at South Caldwell's football field and also the ADM funds to cover that.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have comments or questions regarding this.
Was there more than one bid?
There were 2 bids.
2 bids?
Camp Electric was the lowest responsible bidder, and Watson came in. Camp Electric was $184,000.
Right.
Watson Electric was $218,000, and then Medallion, no bid.
Okay.
Any other comments or questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And motion passes. Next.
Thank you. Exhibit 5 are bids for pizzas, and Bullseye Brand was the only responsive bidder, and we respectfully request the approval of Bullseye Brand pizzas for our schools.
Do I hear a motion that we approve the bid for Bullseye Brand pizzas for 2018, 2019?
I'll make the motion we approve the bid for Bullseye pizzas.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions? And they were the only bidder.
They were the only bidder, yes, sir.
Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, thank you. And Exhibit 6 is a resolution acknowledging the execution and delivery by the Caldwell County Board of Education of a guaranteed energy savings contract. I respectfully request that you approve this resolution for me to submit to the county commissioners. As we move forward with our guaranteed performance contracting, as we mentioned at the last work session, we have to have approval from the Board of Commissioners stating that they will not lower our energy funding throughout the years. I respectfully request the approval for this to be presented to the commissioners.
Do I hear a motion that we approve the resolution acknowledging the execution and delivery of a guaranteed energy savings contract as presented by Dr. Church.
Chairman Pennell, I move that we approve Dr. Church's resolution acknowledging the execution and delivery of a guaranteed energy saving contract.
Second.
Second. Any questions? I think we're all pretty aware of that, but if you have a question, anyone? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Church. Appreciate that. Next, we have Dr. Bill Griffin, Assistant Superintendent, Human Resource Services.
Good evening, Chairman Pennell, members of the board, Dr. Phipps. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with you this evening. I have in front of me Exhibit 7, usual and customary items of information about our personnel. That does not need a vote or approval at this time. It's just only items of information. Exhibit 8, usual and customary personnel actions. That does need approval for this evening. I respectfully ask for your approval of the usual and customary personnel action items.
Mr. Chair, I make the motion that we approve the usual and customary personnel action items as presented.
Very good. Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you very much. Also have before me Exhibit 9, student transfers, recommendations. I respectfully ask approval of the student transfer recommendations for 2018-19 as listed in Exhibit 9. Of those total transfer requests, we have 94. Transfers recommended board approval, 85. Transfers not recommended board approval, 9. Total board approval for 18-19 school year is 610. Transfers revoked was 0, and then total transfers revoked 7. Respectfully ask for approval of those transfers this time.
Do I hear a motion that we approve the 2018-2019 student transfers as presented by Dr. Griffin?
Chairman Pennell, I move that we approve the 2018-2019 school year student transfers as have been presented.
Second.
Any comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you very much. And finally, Exhibit 10 is our beginning teacher support plan. It's required by the state that each year we do an overview of our beginning teacher support plan and put that document before you for approval. Before I ask of such approval, I would like to bring your attention to the persons responsible for helping me and assisting me write that plan. That's Ms. Tracy Waters, and they are in attendance tonight. Heather Poole and Denise Allen, our mentors. And Denise had an athletic function for her family, so she certainly sends her regrets. But all three of these ladies are essential to our beginning teachers and mentoring them on a day in and day out basis. I'd like to discuss that certainly appreciate what they do each and every day. They were responsible this year, that's in that plan, of a 3.5-day orientation and trying to insist and instill the values and everything that our teachers need to be successful. I think that if you will look at the data and the research, and it basically states and shows that if we can get these teachers past that year 3, keep them in the classroom and keep them active and engaged, that we can have them make a career out of education. A lot of that applause and commitment is due to these ladies and what they do with each of those individual teachers that we have, and I certainly appreciate the work that they do. They meet with them, all of our beginning teachers, 1, 2, and 3, face-to-face, work with them through staff development, professional development monthly, and do a lot to ensure that they make it those 3 years. So much as the fact that one of our state representatives, Dr. Monica Shepard, has described our system as a model for the state, and that goes hand in hand at what these ladies do, and I certainly appreciate their support and their efforts in this plan that you see before you this evening. So if I could, at this time, if you would please approve that plan so that we can put it in place and ensure quality education for all of our teachers.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the beginning teacher support plan as we have read it and has it been presented to us.
Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Anyone have any questions or comments?
Is it okay to comment, Chairman Pennell?
Sure, absolutely, go ahead.
I just want to say to both Tracy and to Heather that many of us on the board attended the day at Davenport for the first year teachers, and it was just such a joy to see the enthusiasm and to see the activities that had been planned. And we're very fortunate, and that's delightful, that Mrs. Shepherd, did I say her name correctly?
That's correct, yes.
Offers the work that is being done here as a model. And nothing makes me happier as a board member, and I'm sure my colleagues, than to see the joy of a beginning teacher and what they're going to do with students. So thank you for this effort, and we do appreciate the work.
Thank you very much.
Any other comments or questions? All those in favor of the plan, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Griffin. Thank you, ladies. We do indeed appreciate the work you do. Next, we have our Finance Director, Mr. David Johnson.
Chairman Pennell, board members, and Dr. Phipps. I have exhibit number 11 tonight. It is a resolution for all funds for our budget for the 18-19 school year. It is in the prescribed format, uniform budget format required by the Local Government Commission. It includes balanced revenues and expenses by fund. We went over a lot of this information at the work session. Hopefully I provided you with supplemental information on top of the budget resolution. A couple of things I'd like to point out. It'll bring our total budget, beginning budget, to $111,705,837. The state and federal will increase because at the time I base this on the initial allotments, and we still have some program report codes and a couple other things that are not completely finalized. So we will expect more money. Last year, I think our total budget was right at $123 million.
Yeah.
So it's down a little bit at 111, but all the program report codes, PRCs, are not in this initial budget. I'd like to request that this budget resolution be approved as submitted.
Do I hear a motion that we approve the budget resolution 2018-2019 as Mr. Johnson has presented it?
I make the motion we approve the 18-19 budget as presented.
Second.
Any comments or questions of Mr. Johnson? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Next, I want to turn it back over to our superintendent, Dr. Don Phipps, if you have any additional comments or information.
Just two events and dates for the board to be aware of. Number one is the School Board Association Fall Law Conference. Will be October the 17th through the 19th. I would encourage, if you've not attended that, it's one of the best professional development activities that I'm engaged in, and would love to have you all be there. The second is the School Board Association's annual conference in Greensboro, November the 12th through the 14th. We need to know before you leave tonight, if possible, if you could let Kathy know if you plan to attend either of those and the district meeting that'll be in Wilkesboro as well. We need to get a head count of who will be going with us.
Okay. Next, for board information, Dr. Phipps indicated that we are going to Wilkesboro, and we've mentioned that already, and that'll be for our District 7 meeting. That will be on the 26th of September. The meeting starts at 4, and we don't want to be late. So if everybody could meet here at the Education Center about 2:30, and we'll leave pretty soon thereafter, and we're going to take the big van so everybody will be able to ride in it. So that's the only information I have. Anything else from anyone on the board for information purposes? Well, we want to thank each of you for being here with us this evening. Y'all hear a motion, we adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And we are adjourned. Have a great evening.